Okay, the time is now 6:30. We are in session. Please do not forget to silence your cell phones. Notice is hereby given that a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas will be held on Thursday, October 9, 2025 at 6:30 PM at City Hall, 22870 Priest Road, Sandy Oaks, Texas, where a quorum of the City Council will be present. All agenda items are subject to action. You can follow along at the meeting provided in the agenda. The public will be permitted to offer public comments in person, telephonically, or by audio as provided by the agenda and as permitted by the presiding officer during the meeting by signing up with the city secretary at least 15 minutes in advance of the meeting, if providing comments in person, and at least 2 hours in advance of the meeting by emailing the city secretary at cityofsandyoaks.com or by calling 210-607-0834 if speaking telephonically or by audio. Please indicate whether you are speaking during the public hearing portion of the meeting regarding the, oh, that's something else. We should have scratched that. We were not having a public hearing regarding the tax rate hearing. An audio recording of the meeting will be made and will be available to the public in accordance with the Texas Public Information Act upon written request. May I have a quorum call, ma'am?
Yeah. Alderman Bellinger,
Not present.
Alderman Tremblay,
Here.
Alderman Rapino,
Not present.
Alderwoman Walker.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Madero,
Here.
city attorney's here, and city secretary, good forum.
Give me 1 second. Okay, please stand for your pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Okay, citizens to be heard, people wishing to speak may sign up with the city secretary in the time and manner as indicated above. At this time, we do have Mr. Maximino Martinez. Sir, you have the floor.
Sí, porque me mandaron un papel, pero era muy tarde. Y como yo estoy separado de la mujer, y apenas me di cuenta del papel, pero anteriormente yo limpié toda la basura de mi propiedad, tengo una traila que era mía, pero ya lo saqué hace mucho. Y el amigo que tengo me pidió permiso que metiera un carro, pero nomás temporalmente, no era para mucho tiempo. Está corriendo el carro porque en San Antonio se lo querían robar. Le quebraron el col y jala. El carro es un antiguo. Me dijo, te lo puedo dejar ahí un tiempo. Entonces busco como de storage y la traila, dijo. Pero no, pues está bien, pero nomás un tiempo. Y le dije que que lo moviera ya, lo más pronto que pudiera. Y hasta ahorita, pues yo no sabía. Pues dice que tiene llantas y todo, pues me dijo el oficial que no tenía llantas. Le digo, ¿está jalando y tiene llantas o no? Dice, no, pues, y yo ahorita, pues, voy a ir a mirar a la propiedad si es que tiene llantas o no. Le dije, lo más pronto que pueda sacarlo. Porque digo, pues, ahí no deben de ser ñonques, como dice. Es lo que quiero yo, que saque el mueble. Le dije, si no, pues, para agarrar una recta y sacarlo yo. Pero es un carro antiguo. Y lo querían
If we
robar.
get,
Yeah, we're gonna get a
before we
translation.
get a whole 3 minutes in it, for those that don't speak Spanish, we can get someone to translate this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll translate.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, well, I mean, I would say let him finish and then we'll do a translation,
Translation or a paraphrase?
paraphrase. Is there a problem? What would you prefer?
The translation. I like to know
Translation.
exactly what he's actually saying.
So what he's saying is that he's separated from his wife. He got the tickets late, so now he's trying to clean up the property. This is related to Mr. McNeil's property next door. He didn't think the car didn't have tires on it. He was unaware of that. He's talking to his friend who owns the car, which is an antique, and he's gonna go over there. Both of them are gonna look at it and see, obviously, that it doesn't have tires and put them on. So far, I mean, is there anything else that I missed?
The other thing was that he said if his friend doesn't move it, he would get a record and have it taken.
Go, continue, sir.
Y es todo lo que eso vine, porque pues yo como a veces no estoy en San Antonio, yo trabajo en construcción y ando fuera, me pagan motel y todo. Y a veces les hablo si no me llegaron cartas o algo, pero no me entregan nada a veces.
Okay. You know, finish that part up for me.
So he's living in the hotel room and sometimes he calls his wife about the mails. He doesn't tell him when he gets mail, so he didn't know he got the
Vale.
the violations that we sent him regarding key abatement property that we're working on. So, I talked to him earlier and I let him know that the abatement process has been started, the warrant just needs to be signed. He has said, look, if my friend, because I said it's been over a year, that if my friend doesn't get it out, I'll pay for a record and take it out. I told him if the process has been started, but if he gets it out before we get it out, that's
It's only better for him. Thank you, sir. Gracias. Okay. Moving on to Mr. John Crickler. You have the floor, sir. It is now 6:36.
I'm just gonna read this. Everyone has a copy. Honorable ladies and gentlemen of Sandy Oak City Council, thank you for allowing me to speak. As for item 13D on the October 9th, 2025 City Council meeting agenda, these are my thoughts. Sandy Oaks has had an experienced administrator on staff in the past. Tell me if I go over 3 minutes.
You're fine.
Mr. Ken Roberts was on staff during the Ball administration with good results. He was an administrator when the city acquired the current municipal building, City Hall. Ken was full-time then until he left to go to Carn City on a better offer. Ken then did return part-time during the current Martinez administration, but had to retire for health reasons. There was a part-time public administration intern employed by the city for a time. I cannot attest to the effectiveness of this person. Agenda item 13D discusses hiring a part-time city administrator. I and others on the council would be more amenable with hiring a full-time administrator, if at all economically feasible. A few council meetings back, Alderman Rapino offered to contribute a great portion of the city's investment fund that he manages for the purpose of hiring a full-time administrator. Several resources for the candidates search mentioned would be including recent graduates from local colleges with degrees such as the Master's of Public Administration or simply Public Administration. Master's of Public Administration is offered at St. Mary's University and online from the American Military University and Texas A&M International University. Other local colleges to check for qualified people might be Incarnate Word, Trinity University, Our Lady of the Lake University, and UTSA. Options might be interns part-time or graduates full-time. Experience in the field would be a plus. Salaries would be negotiable based on experience and qualifications. Having made the trek to Poteet, Texas to observe the Poteet City Council in action during the meeting on Tuesday, September the 16th, I can say having a city administrator makes all the difference for a smooth running city council. As a matter of fact, the administrator's employment contract was just extended 5 years at that meeting. I would recommend that Sandy Oaks council members attend the Poteet council meeting. Poteet City Council meets at 6:30 p.m. the third Tuesday of the month at the Poteet City Hall, 491 Avenue H in Poteet. There's so many things in city governance that need the attention of a dedicated professional. There is just too much on the city's plate day in and day out to expect council members to efficiently negotiate and provide the best outcomes for the city. Thank you for your time and your attention. And I think the council members would not be worrying about spending their time looking for an administrator or a compliance officer if we had an administrator to do the job for them. And that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Okay, moving along, we have Maria Hudson. Ma'am, you have the floor.
Good evening. My name is Maria Hudson, and I come to you tonight out of a concern for safety of not only our school children, but for all pedestrians in our community. Recently, I was crossing Waterwood Pass at the four-way stop to meet my son at the designated bus drop-off location. As I was crossing Waterwood Pass, as I approached the stop sign to cross, the vehicle stopped at the sign as well as I. And I waited for it to continue through the intersection. As that car passed, I proceeded to cross the street. When the van behind that prior car ran the stop sign and continued driving, I had to jump back to avoid getting run over. Again, I bring this to you out of concern and to request that flashing red lights or other warning signage be placed at all 3 or 4-way stop signs in the city, especially when they're designated school bus stop locations. In my case, me, an adult with awareness of my surroundings, was able to prevent getting hit by the vehicle running the stop sign, but I worry about my middle school student or any other student that may not be able to act as fast as I did. Additionally, I did bring this concern to the Southside School Board meeting when they were here in Sandy Oaks only about 2 weeks ago for their town hall. And they expressed willingness to partner with the city of Sandy Oaks to make a positive change regarding my concern. While at this meeting, I did meet another Southside parent and Sandy Oaks neighbor coming to raise the same concern. I would like to see some action taken before anyone, especially one of our children, gets hurt. Thank you for your time this evening. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Hudson. Okay. That does then conclude our citizens to be heard. Mayor's and administrator announcements. So at this time, I just want to give a huge shout out to the various departments at Sandy Oaks, Police Department, Public Works, City Hall, Court, Animal Control, the volunteers at the community center for a very successful National Night Out. So definitely give them high praise and honor for what they did to make that a successful event. I think it was probably the best we've had in the last 5 years. And I think people are continually to come and see it, and they're going to want to be involved. So we may outgrow that space, especially as more businesses move there. So something to think about in the future. But overall, I was really happy with it. And I think I don't think there was any negative feedback that came from that, other than we probably ran out of food quicker than we thought. So, which is good, right? Because I'd rather run out of food than be sitting on 40 extra hot dogs right now. But overall, great success. Thank you for all those that contributed to it. It was certainly a positive experience. Kind of along the lines with Ms. Hudson, as far as administrative announcements, right? Like, kind of want to do like a safety moment. So this past Sunday, I was in a car accident. So my point to that is, certainly be aware of your surroundings. Obviously it's very easy to be distracted with cell phones or whatever else is going on, animals in the road, children walking on the sidewalks. Or playing in their front yard and a ball comes out. Always be aware of your surroundings. Try to forecast as much as you can down the road, so that way you're aware of what's going on around you and try to anticipate what may happen. But I think that's overall all I have for announcements. Anything else that you could think of, Delma? Nothing. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but any update from Palmer Pino? We know
As far
how
as
he's doing,
health?
his health.
Yeah,
Any
he's.
kind of update?
Yeah, well, the only update that I have is that he was admitted to the hospital and he's into surgery tomorrow. So it's going to be some time, but we'll have to figure out and talk to him and see what's going to happen from there.
John has a lot of history on that too. And there's a lot, and then if you want to talk to John after the meeting, he
Yeah.
can give you some more details.
Yeah, I've already discussed with him. So we'll.
For me.
Oh, for you. Okay, yeah. Okay. All right. So look, I want to. I really don't like to, but let's jump to agenda item 13A. For just the purpose of we have a visitor on the phone with Trish. Trish, can you hear us loud and clear? And can we
Yes,
hear?
I can. I can hear you.
Yeah, hang on, because I can't hear you. Can you speak up one more time?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's not connecting the speaker, but I can turn this up. Let me actually flip it 1 second. That should be. Try that one more time for me, Trish.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay.
So let me pull up my information. So the reason why I wanted to bring Trish today is because we do have a decision to make related to the health benefits for our city employees. And so I wanted to kind of talk through it and give you my recommendation based off the conversations that I've had with Trish. And then we can go and then ask her questions if she has anything specific, or if y'all have anything specific to discuss. What is 13A, right? Okay. So across the board, the Texas Health Benefits Pool will be increasing. What you have right here in front of you is your 24-25 rates, which is 847.74 for just an employee only health plan. And then I believe the one right next to it would be their comparable, which is a 12% increase from year over year. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that while it is 847.74 on the left and 949 on the right, their employees are not responsible for the 949, right? The city of Sandy Oaks pays for, Trish, correct me if I'm wrong, 75% now of that 949.
Correct. It would be 75%.
Okay. So while it is still an increase, it is an increase for the city, it is an increase for the employee. Don't be alarmed by the, almost $1,000 price tag. It's still, what is it, 949 times 75%. So call it, or 25%. So $250 is basically rounding up what you would expect. Now, in talking to Trish and going over the various plans, my personal recommendation would it be actually a slight decrease compared to the 12% increase. My recommendation is option 3. For one, it's a 10.63% increase, so still an increase. The deductible does increase by $1,000, but the out-of-pocket reduces by $1,000. And anything, correct me if I'm wrong, but Trish, and I may misstate, but you said everything that we pay in deductible goes towards the out-of-pocket. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
But the deductible feeds into the out of pocket.
Okay. So while it is an increase overall, it is a decrease in the out-of-pocket, even from last year to their recommendation, which is the 12% increase. Overall, the out of network does increase to $5,000. Again, the out-of-pocket does decrease to $4,000. It looks like everything else stays the same for ER copays and so on. But again, it is a 10.63% increase. And that would be my recommendation for our employees going forward. At this point, I'll open it up to any questions that y'all may have.
So 2, 1, all the dates on here are in the past, so just want to make sure that that is fine. If
Yes.
you look at the small print, everything was supposed to already be done, so we're late there. And 2, when I look at the cost to the city, it's relatively negligible, the difference here. Have you asked the employees which one of these options they prefer? I think they should have the louder voice in this than the city council.
Sure, that's fair. No, I have not asked them for their opinion. However, we are in a bit of a timeline, although we do have time. Trish, I think you want it to be back to you by mid-month, correct?
This is due back by the 15th of October.
Okay.
Yeah, I would recommend we email the city employees and ask each one of them.
I would suggest, I know it's a short fuse for Trish,
Yeah.
I guess, but I think you should have all the employees sitting here and someone explain this to them. so in layman's terms, so they understand it. I mean,
Sure, yeah, yeah.
just to get in this paper and tell them, choose a plan, choose what you want to do, I think you need
Well,
to explain something. to
yeah.
them. And 15th's around the corner, so
Yeah.
we don't have a lot of time, but that would be my suggestion, is that someone explain this whole
Yeah.
system here.
Just to be sure though, just to be clear though, they can't all pick different options, right? They have to pick
Understand.
one, okay. Yep.
Right, it'd
Okay.
be great if they could, but yeah.
Yeah.
But I still think, yeah, I agree with, Mayor Pro Tem that the employees need to have some visibility, you know, on this. They need to have a say.
They should have a louder voice, and maybe, because we have to go with one, do a majority rule poll on them, because
Of course.
as a city council, I don't think that we should have problems with any of the dollar amounts, because the difference between the most expensive one for us and the cheapest is $48.
Yep.
And again, 75% of that amount. So when we look at our budget, I think it's more out of pocket for them, and I'd like them to make the decision, not us.
No argument, huh?
So then when they make the decision, you're okay for me to sign it?
Sure.
You can get a majority vote out of them, yes.
If I can't,
I would, if you can't get a majority vote,
meaning no, but they're not responsive by the 15th. Remember, that's
if you sit them all in.
6 days away.
Here's the
We got
plan.
one day tomorrow,
Right, you get them
the
all. in here,
10th is on
everybody's working tomorrow.
Saturday, the
You get them all
11th,
in here, and
12th.
Monday morning, you can tell her, or you can shoot her a message tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah,
But
this
they need
is
it.
a month old. Have they not seen this already
No.
in the month?
No. So again, right, if I can't get a majority vote, what do you want me to do? I will put it out tonight.
If you have 3 people show up and 2 of them vote and say this one, then that's a
That's a
majority.
majority.
I
Like,
mean, if
we
you
don't,
didn't show up to vote, if you didn't show up,
We have,
everybody
we
here,
have 15 employees.
all right,
That's not a majority vote.
how many are working tomorrow?
All of
the
them.
majority that vote, you send them the email. Follow up with a phone call if they don't answer. Tell them to read the email and answer, or you're gonna make the decision without them. And if only, as he just said, if only 3 of them respond,
Then that's no better than us voting on it.
You know,
but at least you're getting their voice.
Right.
You've got 4 of them sitting right here in this room, 5, 6 employees right here. That's almost half right now. So if only these 6 give you an answer, I'm happy with them 6 making the majority of those 6. I just don't want us to impose, because one of these deductibles is out of pocket expenses, $9,000.
Right? Which is
And,
not why, which is why it's not a recommendation.
right, but let's not, you can recommend to them, but I think it's their choice.
Sure. Okay.
And there's 6 right here, and if you can get a majority out of that 6 and the other ones don't answer, then so be it, they make the call, but at least give them the opportunity.
Okay. All right. So I'll send out the email tonight. Let's try to get an answer by Monday. And that way we can get Trish a response.
That needs to be put in a motion though.
is everybody working?
I move to allow the mayor to send an email to all the city employees requesting their choice of the 5 options, is it? Yeah, 5 options of the Texas Health Benefits Plan.
We get a copy of that.
Yeah,
I'll
afterwards.
second.
Motion to,
And then make a decision based on the majority of the employees that respond.
and give them until when? Friday? I mean, Monday?
It's Monday work, it's Monday holiday.
Is Monday holiday?
Monday's a
holiday.
federal holiday, but I don't know if it's a federal holiday for y'all. or
Or the city's open.
It's not. The city's still open. It's a federal holiday. So that'll give you a day to follow up. So have them respond by Monday, close the business, then you can follow up on Tuesday and still get the answer to Trish on Wednesday.
Gotcha. Okay, motion by Mayor Pro Tem to email the staff with response by Monday, providing all options and go with majority vote, and a second by Alderman Tremblay. It's Any questions for Trish while she's on the phone? Okay. Thank you, Trish. You can jump off now. We will move on back to our
We're
regular.
gonna do a vote.
Oh, sorry, geez. I do have a motion by our Mayor Pro Tem and a second by Alderman Tremblay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. All right, thanks again, Trish. Appreciate you stopping by.
You're welcome. Y'all have a good evening.
You too. All right, let's move back to agenda item 5, consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine by the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be a separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
No questions, I move to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
A second.
All right, I got a motion from Alderman Tremblay and a second from Alderwoman CJ to accept the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, that motion carries. We will move right along. Okay, let's go on to 6. Financial report, the income and expenses for September 2025 will be reported by the City Secretary Delma Doyle with possible discussion and action. Ma'am, you have the floor.
Beginning September the 1st. For the general fund was $346,291.46. Checks and payments cleared were $623.45. Deposits and credits cleared for $84,925.77, which brought the statement balance as of September 30th. $151,594.78.
I do want to go on record and say that while the 279 is rather high, we also cleared out $100,000 from the general fund and approximately $48,000 from the ARPA and TDA to move to Frost. So that's why it's rather inflated. Looks kind of negative there.
And the ARPA fund, it started with September 1st, the beginning was $33,780.39. And checks and payments transferred over to the Frost General Fund. It was $33,480.39, which left with zero balance. On the TDA grant, it started with the beginning balance September the 1st with $15,544.20. That was also transferred over to the Frost General Fund account, which left over zero balance.
So, 2 questions, sir.
Mhm.
So I understand that we're getting everything over to Frost Bank, but over the last 2 months, you've allowed them to withdraw $3,500 for petty cash. What is our petty cash balance? Because our policy is only 3,500. Are we down below that? Are we going to be able to maintain that now that we're back at the Frost Bank? I just think that's a lot of petty cash to have on
Yeah,
hand.
most definitely. And it's because we did not have a spending card, a P card. And so, yeah, the petty cash balance will be $300 going forward. Actually, we just received our P cards 2 days ago.
Okay.
So that should pretty much wipe that all out. We'll have the last few transactions that are flowing into the Discover card, and then that'll close that out. And then we should be able to do business as usual.
So no more use of the Discover card, and you're gonna make sure the petty cash is within our allowable.
That is correct.
Okay, and then, I had asked, all the other questions you've addressed, but the one that remained was the check. That says in this report that it's uncleared, but you said that you thought it had cleared, the one for $245.26 to Priscilla Schmidt for the tire blowout she had?
For July 31st?
Yeah, July 31st.
Yeah, that has cleared. I cleared it with the bank. It's just, I guess I need to talk to the accountant to clear it off of the unreconciled.
Okay, so it did clear the bank,
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
just reported wrong on here.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
And then I did make all the updates that you asked for. However, they may not reflect in this report, but rather than reprinting it again for everybody.
Right, it was just the question.
Yeah.
And then, is that typical to break the check out in the second? The SAD report had the check broken out into two different amounts, but this report had check 2468 for $306.
Yeah.
So the SAD report breaks it down based on what the category the payment is, and that's
Right.
why it has a 2468.
Because you can put it in different departments, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where does the SAD report come from? Is that just a different
from-
report from within Quick and?
Mhm.
QuickBooks?
QuickBooks, yeah.
Okay.
I like it. I like it better than,
It would be great if we were able to see it by department, how much money each of the departments are, the way you're breaking it out.
and we
like
can
that.
do a budget report, right? Like that could be a part of our monthly.
Okay.
Just so you can see how we're doing against the totals.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fine.
so
I can get
just,
that.
just so we can keep track. I mean, are we giving each of the departments the right amount of money through the fiscal year? And are they spending too much, too little?
Yeah, so periodically I will sit down with like Priscilla or Ashley or the chief and say, like, let's look at this. And then we'll start pulling things out, right? If they shouldn't have been there, or if it's something that, maybe they overspent, and we're just getting caught up, right? So,
Yeah, because your whole budget's just a big guess on what you think based on what they did in the past.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah, so it's good to be able to see that and track it.
Yep.
There's any questions I had. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
I have questions that unrelated to the report in general, but notice we have a pilot card and a card.
And a QT.
QT
Yes,
as
sir.
well. And do we earn points or anything using those cards?
The pilot does not, the QT, the QT does, and it is reflected as an interest payment.
So they just refund it back.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
it's not a whole lot.
Right.
And actually, point of clarity on the Discover card, because I know you asked a question, that does receive points. And so my plan is to, once that's closed and said and done, our end of year kind of party to use that towards. But that, it won't show up here, it won't show up in any report, but I'll at least publish it in some shape or form. So that way it's public that those funds went back to the city. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you're gonna tell us what you're doing with those points that you've earned on your
Exactly,
card.
yeah.
Okay,
Because I don't use the card at all for the purpose of keeping it completely separate from my personal expense, so.
Move to accept financial report.
second.
All right, I got a motion from Alderman Tremblay and a second from Alderwoman CJ to accept the financial report as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, that motion carries. Moving right along. Let me get in my best Tom voice. Do we want to talk about this considering he's not here, or do we want to, because I can't sign him, and then all right, we'll talk about that later, but what do y'all?
Pretty straightforward.
They're pretty straightforward. We still need him to sign them, but if there are any questions, we can talk to him. Or if there's no questions, we can just move to accept them.
I move to accept the
I'll second.
investment report.
Okay. All right, so I have a motion by Alderman Tremblay and a second by our Mayor Pro Tem to accept the quarterly investment reports as presented by our financial reporting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you, that carries. We will move right along. Updates and announcement from Public Works Director Priscilla Schmidt with possible discussion and action. Ma'am, you have the floor.
On, an address that we have on New Mathis, I believe the resident received a citation. I believe the chief said somebody ought to go give him a citation for the road base that was in the right of way. And the homeowner, did remove, a pile of the road base, but that road base still is in the right of way. They have talked about an abatement, but we don't need to do an abatement on that. It's just a matter of us getting on the city tractor and just pushing the road base out of the road or out of the right of way and put it in a pile next to his driveway. And I just need to know what is this,
Won't that require you going on his property though?
that is ours now.
No,
That is the
but
right
where are
of
you
way.
gonna put the dirt?
No,
That's-
but if you're gonna push it on his driveway, will you
It would
need to
just go
drive
in
on
a
it?
pile, but then the city could request him to remove that pile that's now piled up. He's, in his mind, he feels like he's cleared that area, but he is not.
So you want to pile it next to his driveway that's still in the right of way and not go onto his property?
Correct,
Okay, just to demonstrate to him what needs to be removed.
correct.
If-
He's
if-
been asked
Understood.
to remove
Yeah.
that and he has failed to do it. And
Would you say the majority has been removed?
I would say half of it's been removed.
It's removed.
Correct,
Has it, is it now, is it still impeding the flow of water?
yes,
It is.
yes, it would still be a problem.
Okay.
Whether there's a problem or not, it's in the right of way. which
Well,
is
he's
the
been asked to
violation.
remove it.
Yeah, but we don't,
And he was, yeah, and he was told to remove it.
He's
if
been
it,
given.
if it was, if it was a hole, right, and he put it in there, I'm just spitballing here. If it was a hole, we wouldn't ask him to remove it because it would not affect the flow of water, right? So it's along the same lines of questioning. So if it's not affecting the flow of water, which if it is, then it's still a problem then. But if it's not affecting the water, then we don't need to move it. I think it's just a matter of preference. However, what I do have a concern with is running our tractor in the right of way. And we need to call 811, we need to get everybody involved. So that way, the moment you dig a little too far south, we don't hit anything.
So I am to contact 811,
I mean, that's,
and after
at,
that. then
at
we-
minimum, I think that's,
I'd suggest, if it takes a police officer. to look down.
Yeah.
If he does that, just in case you've got an issue with. phone.
give me a flat.
I've made 3 attempts since he's received the citation. I've spoke to a gentleman there. He said he's not the homeowner. The homeowner will be there later. Talked to the daughter, homeowner's still not there. And I've indicated to all of the individuals I've spoke to that they still need to remove the road base out of the right of way. So I'm requesting that we follow through with what we've asked the gentleman to do and not just move part of it, but he's to remove it back to its natural state, as Mr. Billinger stated about it. Not leave some of it behind because it's still a convenience for him to come off of New Mathis and still pull into the right of way. So he can park there.
So that's really the issue. It's not the flow of water.
No, the
So-
issue is because he's been asked to remove the road base and
No,
he
but
failed
he's-
to comply.
He's parking still. Yes or no?
He's failed to comply.
Is he?
Not, no, to answer your question?
Yeah.
No, because I've not caught him parking there, so that's no.
Okay.
Maybe somebody else has, I have not. You can see the tire marks, but that has nothing to do with this. This is a matter of the fact that the city has asked a resident to comply with what we're asking him to do, and that's to remove the road base, that he does not have any legal right to place that there. He's been asked to remove it, and he's yet to fail to completely comply with what we've asked him to do. And I would like for council or the police department to make sure that the rest of it is removed.
I think the mayor's right there. You need to call 811 before you take the
That's how-
tractor out there. And then as Alderman Tremblay said, take someone from the police department with you.
I don't have a problem in contacting 811, and I will do as such after this meeting. And then once I have 811 out there to locate and we have no issues, then I would take my city tractor and remove the rest of the road base out of that.
It'd be no different if a car was parked in the right of way and you told them to move it and it stayed there,
Yeah.
we tow it, wouldn't we?
Right.
So.
Right, he doesn't have
You
the right
could
to
just
park
confiscate, you
anything
could
there.
just pick
There's
up
nothing to do
the
with
road base and.
Just
to the
take it.
park.
My opinion is take it. It's our right of way. Take
In
it.
the right of way?
We've given him ample amount of time
Exactly.
to remove it.
So take your
and he has not
trailer.
complied.
Throw it in the trailer.
Okay.
Let's get out of
City attorney.
it. Yeah, that's true.
Let's make sure we're not gonna get in trouble for stealing here. Is there any issues with doing as the mayor just said and just taking it, moving it and taking it over to the park and piling in her little, in the little public works area back over there?
I think if it's on public property, then I don't think it would be.
It's in the right of way and he's been asked to
Then
remove it.
that would be.
He's been given a notice of violation. He's been given an extended notice through the chief. And he's also been given a citation with even instructions to still remove the remainder of the road base. He removed, in my opinion, half of it. The other half is still there. So I just need clearance to let me know that I can go ahead and move forward and contact 811, as y'all stated. And I can go ahead and get my city equipment and go ahead and remove the remainder of it. If not, I would place it in his driveway.
But take the police department with you and make sure you don't drive the tractor onto his property and just remove what's on the right of way and go take it to wherever the mayor.
I would not
chooses
be
to take it.
anywhere on his property. Yes, ma'am.
Those would be my recommendation.
My only concern is damages. If we dig too much.
That's what I'm saying.
But if it's the right of way. and
No, no, no,
811.
no,
Don't
no.
dig
Well,
too
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
You
to
got
that
the
point
triangle
exactly, right?
there.
Like if we dig too
It's in
much,
the-
so that's,
it's like this, the right away, or is it?
It's,
it's spread out. It's spread
it's,
out.
it's a nice right of way. It's
Good.
not a right of way.
You
It
can
doesn't
drag
have
the,
it-
the bucket and level
Correct,
it off
correct.
before you leave. It
Correct.
shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, it shouldn't be an issue.
Too easy.
All right.
So
So then, yeah,
811.
so just call 811. Once you get it marked, take the police with you and then pick it up, put it in your trailer and get out of there. Do we need a motion?
No.
We're
No.
good with just okay.
Well, I wanted to ask, I know Mr. Rapino is our park, or John Kirkmer is our park committee. I would like to find out if there's a possibility in the near future that maybe we might be able to introduce a dog park to the park. If possible.
Have you talked to Alderman Fellinger? He's the chair of the
I
park committee.
have not seen anyone, and no, ma'am, I have not contacted anyone, but I can definitely do that.
I'd say start it there, then see what it turns into.
And my last, discussion would be, is that I will be out of office all next week. When I come back, I would like to present, introduce possibly maybe a quote, 3 quotes for a zero turn for Public Works. We had the bad boy when we originally, became a city. So I would say that we've done pretty good about, keeping the maintenance up on that one and keeping it running. It is kind of starting to give us a little bit of some problems, so we would like to replace it.
I believe, Mayor, you said you took that out of the budget for them for this
It
year?
is out of the budget right now, so it would have to be, we'd have to talk about amending the budget.
I just want to find out if it's okay if I can get 3 quotes for,
I mean, if you've already done the legwork, present them,
yes, sir.
and then we can discuss it.
I just wanted to confirm, so I will get those for y'all.
What about the dog park idea? Any cost associated with that? I'm assuming we need it fenced off.
Fence and area, yeah.
So, just
Not looking for a big area.
talk to Alderman Fellinger about that, because he might have some ideas on how to build it.
Okay.
economically.
And I think, and also I have a quote I'm working on for the rest of the remainder of the end of Waterwood.
Yep.
Hopefully I will have that for you next council meeting.
What is in the regular?
The
The
subdivision,
new subdivision, the street signs.
what?
Are we gonna have it on our agenda to annex that before we?
Well, it's been given, I mean, look, it's been given to, what's her name, Tensi? And so they need to petition the city, so at that point, right, it's.
So we're waiting for them to petition.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I say we don't do anything for them.
Yeah, because if we don't have,
We-
if it's never given to us, right, we never annex it, then we just pay for it for nothing. So
Exactly.
I agree,
We've already had the street sign discussion.
It's just.
but we did,
Yeah,
but,
try to quote.
but we did, well, no, we did, but you said to bring it back to get it updated.
It's
Right,
just
but
a
bring it
quote.
back after we annex it.
Right.
So
So again, it's,
so it's gonna be outdated. It could potentially be outdated again, so we should wait until she petitions us before we spend time and energy to get a quote, because it'll just be outdated if she doesn't petition us, would be my recommendation.
I mean, I think we can NTE too, not to exceed of X amount, and just, if we, once that
It's not
time
about
happens.
an NTE, it's about, we haven't annexed that. It's
It
not.
is, that's exactly how you get around it, right? You get an NTE, we do not proceed until it's annexed. I don't see what the difficulty is in that.
An item for another agenda. It's
Yeah,
not on the
that's
agenda
true.
to-
This is true.
from street signs.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, so for you, I have zero turn, road base removal, Waterwood Pass. What was the other item that you talked about?
The dog park.
Dog park, that's right, okay.
Also one other thing, and I know I spoke to you about this, Mayor Martinez, is that I'm getting some complaints about the trail,
Mhm.
and the condition that it's in.
Did you ever buy that granite or?
No,
Okay,
because I just need to make sure, we have enough loads, or we get a price on what it's gonna cost the city. And how many loads that it would take us to maybe
use for that road base. should be
quite a
there.
bit of touch up.
It's
Well,
not that
that's
much.
actually gonna be
It's not that much.
It's gonna be dangerous.
Yeah.
Those are big rocks. But there are, I have driven the trail and there it is starting to soften up. And like I said, I rode my bike, so it wasn't,
Yeah,
You're talking about the loop in the park.
yeah.
Yeah, I just ran that the other day.
it's got a lot of soft areas in there. And I
Okay.
would just like to, figure out how many loads of truck, how
Loads
many
of dirt.
trucks I would need. To maybe
I would-
touch up some areas in that.
What I would say is
Not
get,
the whole thing.
what I would say is get square footage and then talk to your aggregate hauler and see, okay, this is how much square footage I have that needs to be repaired, right? I'm not looking at doing the whole thing. Let's fix the little, but I also want you to price in the price of a rental of a Bobcat and a, what's it called?
Roller?
Like a roller, right? To really compact it.
Okay.
Because otherwise it's just gonna lift and shift.
Well, I think you need to put some base before you put that crushed granite. I mean, because if you just, that's just gonna sink in the sand. I've walked over there as well. The curves you're talking about is very soft
Yeah.
and the sand is that deep.
Very.
Yeah.
So you can't just go and put the crushed granite on top of that.
Yeah.
That's gonna have to be scraped. You're gonna have to put some base.
And compact
before
that down.
Then put the,
Yeah, I think
So
it, I don't think it's a quick fix, but I don't see why you shouldn't look into it and do it.
Yeah, we definitely need to start looking into it because it is starting to get,
And there's
Really pull
budget in the public, I mean, the public, in the parks funds, so. For park repairs, so park improvements, so,
and that's all I have. Thank you.
all right. Moving right along, animal control updates, announcements and presentation of monthly report from ACO Cunningham. With possible discussion interaction. Ma'am, do you have any updates?
Don't really have any update. We did pick up 4 dogs today. I guess that is an update. We picked up 4 dogs today, that were part of a cruelty case. So the police department did assist us and, we were able to get a owner surrender from the owner of the dogs. And we ended up picking up 11 dogs from her location and,
11,
11 dogs.
but we picked up 11?
The ordinance only allows for 10.
Picked up 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had 1 inside and then the rest were all outside running loose. We started this probably a week ago. We were on another call and we happened to observe the dogs in their yard. And then some of them were very emaciated, which led to the cruelty case, which led to us picking up the remaining dogs.
Now, a cruelty case has to go outside of the city to actually get, because of the type of felony that is.
She
or
was
the type
arrested,
of-
she was arrested today.
So that's a big case, and that's gonna be a lot of work for both of you. to get that done.
It's pretty much done now. She's been arrested. We got a warrant for arrest. It's just this case now to the DA's office and they prosecute it.
Nice.
They did the majority of the work. We just followed up with a search warrant, went out to the house today, contacted. The son didn't want to cooperate, the other dog, but the person at fault has been, placed on arrest. He's in jail right now.
Thank you. It was great work, and
It was-
so they could close it so quickly.
Yes, the police department really helped us on that. They did a good job. So now I put on here that we had 17 dogs. We actually have 20 back there.
Do you have the space for that many dogs?
We utilized all of the kennels that we have. It's not ideal, but it is, feasible.
Are there,
It,
and I hate to ask this question, but are there any dogs that cannot survive at this point? Or that,
the ones that were really bad, they were sent to Austin Pets Alive.
Wow.
They took the emaciated animals?
They
Wow.
took the,
Wow.
yes, the dog was the worst to
Sorry.
You can go.
Okay. Chris Alder with Animal Control. So over the weekend, on Friday, well, me and her, we were looking up on the internet. And come to find out, the one that was the worst case, he needed to have food like every 2 hours. because he was just scarfing it down, acting like, still starving. So I volunteered, I talked to Ashley, I volunteered to foster him over the weekend and make sure that he was getting the food every 2 hours and stuff. Whenever we first picked him up, had him here in the facility, he was pooping nothing but sand. No, nothing wet, nothing. It was nothing but sand and covered in fleas. You can see his hip bones, rib bones, his backbone. His teeth were severely bad, like some of them were loose. His skull, like his eyeballs were kind of like sunken in. It was really bad. And then on Monday, whenever I brought him back to the facility, Ashley got on with that Austin Pets Alive, and they offered to take the 2 dogs that were really bad. So on Monday, we took him to the vet, got documentation, and he got diagnosed with heartworms. But they don't know how severe it is. But
Heartworms is treatable,
yeah,
so.
depending on the severity of it, though.
Does he have any food aggression? I'm assuming he does.
I had to keep him away, or we had to keep him away. Whenever he was here, we had to put him in a kennel to where he couldn't attack through the fence, because that's what he was doing. So we did that, and then at my house, I have 2 little dogs inside, but I have an area where I could put sick dogs or anything in my house. And I had to feed him over there so he wouldn't be around my dogs to try and bite them. But yeah, it was really bad, really bad. But we got with the chief, or I was leaving on Friday and I bumped into the chief. I told him, hey, look at this dog, I was about to leave, taking him home. And he goes, you know what, you and Ashley need to get with me on Monday so we could do a cruelty case. And I was like, okay. Cece saw me Monday morning. I showed her all the pictures that we had, and she jumped on it. She was like, oh, we're gonna get this done. We reached out to Miss Cassandra Ortiz, the lawyer or attorney, and she told Ashley, what all to do. And today we're doing all the reports and everything.
And picking up the extra 5 dogs,
4 dogs.
4 dogs. It's a lot of dogs. On here, on my report for the monthly, it says that with the total number of animals taken into the facility was 20. That's still the same because
Yeah,
that was for
September.
September, but we picked up a lot of.
We're gonna have an influx for October.
Yeah, so with all of these dogs that are there, we're not gonna be able to pick up dogs for a while, at least a couple weeks until we can get these dogs moved out. We do have 1 for sure going to Canada, well, 3 going to Canada. 2 are leaving in November, 1 is leaving at the end of this month. There's 3 puppies that should be leaving tomorrow. And then we haven't had time to plea any of these dogs to Austin Pets Alive, except for the 2 that were in the worst shape. So we still have to do that. We were gonna try and do some of that tomorrow. So
As of right now, we got 5 dogs in the 10x10.
yes, we have 5 in it.
But that's from the house.
Yeah,
that we picked
they're
up.
used to their pet.
Yeah,
mentality.
they're
Okay.
mama dog and
Right.
then all of her puppies.
Okay.
So,
Well, they're bigger dogs.
they're-
They're not babies.
they're puppies, but they're big.
Yeah,
They're grown.
Kids, yeah.
So we had, 25 warnings, we had 8 citations, we had 7 impounds, 4 referrals, 10 impound citations, so the, failure to reclaim, is helpful. And then, we had 7 unable to locate and 3 resolved prior to contact. The total number of animals that were taken in for September was 20. The dogs transferred to shelters returned to owners or adopted with 17. We did have to euthanize one dog that was injured. So that one, it didn't make it. And then we had in 2 microchips. So 2 people came in for microchips, which was nice to see people coming in for microchips. We've started carrying the microchips in our van. So if anybody needs one, we can do it while we're patrolling.
And we did do that yesterday.
Yeah. We picked up the dog that was stuck in a fence and
Yeah, we got to care of that.
we did microchip the lady's dog that actually lived there.
Good job, both of you.
We're as busy as you've been. I hate to ask this, but where are you at with getting that quote that we asked you to get at a previous meeting for a building to contain those modular kennels that you had found?
I'm sorry, I have not been able to get on that.
I know, you sound like you've been really busy, but
So I have talked to, I have talked to our city engineer. Our city engineer, and he estimated about $500,000 but this is a full-on building, right? Not just a place to house kennels, right? This is where their offices are. This is a scaled-down version to Atascosa, to support 25 to 30 animals instead of their 70. But again, they would have a cattery, and I say cattery, but this is an area specifically for cats to be housed, a specific area for dogs to be housed, puppies, and then you'd have your kind of barn in the back. You would also incorporate public works offices in there as well. So I kind of shot for the stars on that, but without even putting any bit of furniture in there is estimating $500,000.
what about to get us something so we don't have to have dogs in kennels when we have 20 dogs in our facility, just the downside.
We can certainly change the scope and just say,
Yeah,
look, we
I mean, that
need a
is
slab
cheaper
with a
this way.
barn and that's about it.
So-
I can talk to the place where I had originally got the quotes from. I did get where like you virtually build your building. I do have those quotes, but it's not actually going and speaking to the company. It was just a virtual make your building.
Let's talk to Jess. I think we need to have our engineer on it just to oversee it.
Okay.
But I think it should be, I mean, anyways, we're not gonna get into that, but let's sync up.
Just a reminder, please don't forget that we
Yeah,
asked for
because
that.
me
We
and
do-
her, we've
we
been
do
trying to
wanna
wreck
help
her.
it- Help you do your job a little easier and
Yeah,
not
me
lock
and her have
dogs
been
in
trying to
kennels.
wreck our brains, trying to figure out how to do it and stuff. I'm no engineer.
Well, it sounds like the mayor will work with
Yeah.
you and get the engineer involved, so let's leverage that
Yeah.
and see. Because we
That-
do
I
have a
think that would
city,
be really helpful.
Yes.
yes, get the city engineer engaged. Thank you.
Any other questions for animal control? All right. Let's move right along. Updates and announcements and presentation of monthly report from Chief Juarez with possible discussion and action. Sir, you have the floor. Any updates or announcements?
The only announcement I have is we did hire a new officer. Andrew Franco has started, for those of you who did not meet him yet. He's a Air Force veteran with a master's degree in criminal justice, and he has started. He is in field training right now with TC, then he will field train with Mark. But so he's on the road already. Other than that, no other than you and no.
So I noticed our numbers have gone down. Fair County has more. I'm guessing that this is because we were down an officer for,
So aside also from being down an officer, Mark and Fred were both gone for over half a month. So that was about, over half the month that they did not work. They weren't on patrol. So we just had really TC out there, for the time that they were not here. They took some PTO time. So that left me too short, and then Andrew's not by himself, so yeah.
do you cover some of the shifts and go out some when officers are out on
I
PTO and
I
stuff?
go out, but not cover a shift per se, right? I don't come in and cover like Mark.
Yeah,
did
'cause they're
from
12-hour
8 to 8,
shifts,
right,
yeah.
But
But you go out a
but
little
after
bit.
he falls, yes, right. Last week, caught heroin at the Valero. I went out there, we did that. Took a call today and took a call with Ashley today, so we cover shifts when TC's not available or Mark's not available, or whatever the case would be.
I saw we had another sexual assault of a child.
Yes, that
Are
is
these
correct.
new offenders or these are registered offenders?
So that is a completely new offender. That was the case that, they reported it to San Antonio PD. San Antonio PD called us and said, hey, this occurred over there. And it was ongoing for about 5 years. It's been occurring here. So it is a completely new offender. Rick is working on that case. We just got that case in the last day of last week. It's a fresh case.
So new, so these aren't people from out of town coming to town. These are
So
new,
they're
new offenders that are residents of the
They're
city of San Diego.
Correct.
Have we completed a sex offender registry for our city?
We do now. PC is a certified sex offender registration officer, and we have taken that role over from Fair County. They're the ones that have done it. In fact, yesterday we had, Pine Grove came over to visit and discussed with me some stuff that they're doing and that they're interested in. And, Bear County's still doing theirs. So a lot of the surrounding area, Bear County does it for a lot of the surrounding agencies. So we have taken that over and we handle that in-house here.
So do we have a
Can we-
list of like where the sex offenders are? You know, like there's different websites you can go to and say, where are the sex offenders in my neighborhood? The registered sex offenders. It won't help put the
Can,
new
can,
ones. but
can we put a
registered.
link on our website?
And we have a.
How
link
we
on our
do that,
website
yeah.
for
We,
that
we
stuff.
asked about it, I think, in the past. But
I think you
don't
did
know
it,
if
no?
it's
There.
Yeah, it's there.
So it's a link to the.
To the Texas-
National
yeah.
one, right?
A link to the
Can we,
state one.
But you can narrow it down to San Diego.
Yeah.
Don't know if we can do that or not. I've not asked if we can put a link just like on our city website. Hey, here's where our sex offenders live. I don't know if that's okay or not okay, or if we really want to do that, if it is okay. But, we do have everybody's address because they have to register with us and they have to update with us. And if they move, or if they get a job, or even if they so many things, it depends on the stipulations of their release, right? What they have to do, when they have to register. Sometimes it's once a year, sometimes it's more frequent or less frequent.
But that link you have on our site, if I as a citizen were to go out to that link, I could do a search and find out where are the sex offenders within San Diego.
Yep.
Correct.
Through that link.
Yep.
Correct.
Right. So we don't need a separate link. We can get to it from
Yeah,
there.
because that's a state thing. So it's-
Okay. And we have the ability to narrow it down.
do we know that none of them are living where there's a bus stop? Do we know that?
No, I do not know. I do not know if that is a stipulation or not.
It was,
I know it can't be with so many feet of a school, but I need to check on the bus.
A daycare.
So, I know we checked also like in, Halloween, right? So about giving out candy for Halloween. We called, the state, they said they can give out Halloween candy, unless the city puts a city ordinance in place saying between this hour and that hour, don't turn on your lights and you can't give out candy, right? And this came from the director for DPS, for the.
So it's a city where
Federal-
we can do that. That's what I'm saying.
Right. we can
Yeah,
make a
but
city ordinance.
we've already, me and Cassandra have already chatted about it. There's some issues with doing that, so I'll leave it up to her to explain that better than I can.
Okay, well, when I looked it up, it was, we could not unless it was a part of their probation, but if DPS, if they gave you if they said we could do
Well,
that. just-
for example, this specific individual that was wanting to know if they could give out candy, and we called him that individual, he can't, right? Because it's not a part of his release or stipulation that he cannot. Now, some of them, depending on the
The assault.
severity or status of their release, some can't, but that's because that's part of their, I don't want to say bond conditions, but their release, right? But for your normal release, did your time got out, the way he explained it to us, they can't. There's no, there used to be the, it was called, forgot what it was called, years ago, they had it, and they had a nickname for it, but they couldn't give out candy.
Because the I think no candy law.
No candy law, there you go. And so, as of September 1st, there was this past legislature met, and it was proposed to make it where all sex offenders in the state of Texas can't hand out candy on Halloween, and can't be around certain other areas, but it did not pass. So, it didn't pass.
It's just a fine line we're gonna have to walk, if that's something that we want to consider. But if it's a part of their release conditions, then that should be enough, right?
Right.
Yeah,
if it's
but-
part of them. But like for this this certain individual that called wondering, and I give out candy.
Yeah, can't,
Why?
So it's gonna take some research to go in and identify these people
and every
and then
person,
go
look
into
at their
and
bond.
look at their
They're really.
conditions of their release.
Correct.
Right, thank you.
And they're usually the
Regard-
probation officer or police
Regard-
officers that will go up and go out and check up on them to see whether they are complying with their parole or probation restrictions.
I was just curious on this topic. How about y'all post it on the Sandy Oaks, PD website? And let people know, to take caution. Cause there could be sex offenders out, especially while the parents and the kids are going trick or treating. I'm just suggesting it. I mean, cause
It's already public.
yeah, it's public
So why don't we have
knowledge. So that way the parents can look at this and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I gotta keep an eye on my kid instead of just letting them randomly go up to somebody's house, like keep a better eye on them, keeping the kids safe.
Under city ordinance violation, under type of violation, you put the officers' names instead of the type of violation. Can you do it like the other one where you have the names across the top, like you do the San Diego Police Department in Bear County? And then the violations down the side as opposed to names under type of violation? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then, I received an email. I'm done. With the applicants for the code enforcement position. Have you received that email as well? So you can look at it and make recommendations to the council on which ones we should consider?
I know we have, an applicant, we have more than one.
We're on,
I've not interviewed him yet. I know we have 10 applicants.
Well, the mayor hasn't put it on the agenda yet for the council to decide if we're going to interview him. I was just wondering if you've got it, so you can provide a recommendation when we're prepared to discuss it.
Yes, I know of the applicant that we have.
Okay,
We don't need to have an agenda item to do the interviews. If we have the applicant, we can move forward with the interview and come forward with a.
personnel policy says we decide as a city council whether or not we're gonna interview.
Yeah, we need to amend that.
We'll talk about it next year.
Yeah, okay.
there is one, police officer applicant that seemed to have no experience, very little. It came in through Tia Val the other day, so,
Yeah, so the day before you, or
Yeah.
Monday, I think, yeah.
okay. Any other questions for our chief of police? Okay, then we will move right along. We are going to skip agenda item 11A unless somebody has updates from Parks and Recs. All right,
Meeting last. The
This
last
week.
meeting, there was no meeting.
oh, that's right,
That was neighborhood night out.
that's right. Do you have then is it the first Tuesday of the month?
Yeah.
All right, so then let's just call that out as November 4th at 5:30, right, is their typical meeting?
Yes, that's 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, that's right. The first Tuesday, so November 4th.
That's election.
They don't.
No, fourth. Election is the fourth. Yeah, they have all day today.
I was like, the community center is not gonna stop for the elections. All right. Agenda item 12A, unfinished business, discussing or possible action on amending the personnel policy. I will publish the agenda tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon.
And the meeting's only gonna have this item and then the public hearing, correct?
It's not gonna have a public hearing after all.
The inspector hasn't been able to go out yet, we're still.
Okay, so it'll just be the personnel policy.
Yep.
Perfect, thank
Yep.
you.
All right, and then codification, so still waiting on E-code to send me their update or their quote, and then once I receive that, then I'll ask Unicode to send me their update if there's any changes. And then once I have those, we'll present those as soon as they're available.
So before we hire one of these companies, shouldn't we fix all the mistakes that I brought to the council's attention before I was elected? Otherwise, we're going to be doing it while they're trying to go through it all.
That's part of their process is that we're gonna go through and they're gonna make these changes or ask us to make changes.
But they're not gonna know. For example, resolution 199 is missing.
Okay,
Well, it's not missing. It's listed, but it's also the resolution where you fired the previous chief was with resolution 199, but it's listed as something else on the page. They're not gonna catch these mistakes.
okay.
And if you go to the budget amendment for last year,
Mhm.
it says, go to this ordinance where we pass the budget. When you go to that ordinance, it's actually the summer intern.
But you had that list of corrections, you had a list.
Yeah, I had a list.
You still have it?
Yeah, and I've been keeping it updated. So yeah,
Okay, well, that's probably, we have 3 individuals in the office now, maybe one of the people can be tasked with
yeah, I
making
just,
those corrections.
I just think we should start sorting that out before
I
we
mean, it's not like it
hire
can be
somebody.
done tomorrow, but it needs to be updated gradually, making those
And
corrections.
then come back with a list to council. Council will approve the number changes.
Right.
Some of it's number changes, some of it's missing attachments to different ordinances and stuff that are posted.
Mhm.
I just think if we get a head start of all of this now, instead of once we hire somebody, if we hire them, it's gonna be better if we get started on that list
That
now.
has nothing to do with the Unicode itself, but we will make that on the next.
I thought that's what they're gonna be doing, going through our ordinances.
Yeah, they're gonna go through ordinances, but you're
Right.
talking about tasking people to do things,
Well,
and I
who's-
get it.
Who's authorized to go in and make those changes?
I'm
Well,
just
if
saying
it's
that,
just adjustments, then we can, like, if we've already approved it, right? And it's just finding where the mistake is. Hopefully we can find the original one, it's in the book, and then just uploading it and fixing it, so.
right.
I can do it, CJ can do it.
We hire somebody.
Okay.
Just asking to start working on that before we hire.
Okay, so then. Any other questions on the codification services? And
You'll bring it back next meeting or?
as soon as I get it, and then we can start working through whatever, we'll look at that list again, Mayor Pro Tem, and start making those corrections. All right, so we've gone through 12A, 12B, we've done 13A. Discuss our possible action on members of the Animal Shelter Advisory Committee.
So we were waiting on 2 things for that. You were trying to get a quote from the vet. To be able to do 3 meetings a month and, or
A year.
A year, excuse me. And then, animal control, Ashley was gonna see about getting an animal welfare representative for the committee. Those are the 2 things we're waiting on right now.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything on the quote from the veterinarian. I'll re-up that. And she just left, so.
Sonder's still here. What do you need?
Welfare Committee. Okay.
So do we have just one veterinarian that we're,
I mean,
Asking.
that's the only veterinarian that's willing to at least come out and help us.
and he's from where?
He's from, well, he works at it's actually Delma's son. Yeah, he lives in Michael.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was in Corpus and then he moved to San Antonio, right, roughly.
We're talking about the animal advisory committee, animal shelter advisory committee. Just wondering if you, we were just talking about the veterinarian, but also you were gonna see about getting an animal welfare representative.
I did speak to the veterinarian and he said to use the same prices that he had sent us for coming out. Minus the actual procedure pricing, just the travel cost. I have not gotten
Okay.
animal welfare committee person. I meant to ask, Sarah Maryhead, who's the person who does the Austin Pets Alive. But I haven't gotten to her yet. With everything going on, it's been really busy. Well, this past month has been
Yeah.
really busy, so I didn't get to it.
Thank you.
All right. No problems. All right, so let's move along to 13C. Discuss under possible action on resolution 2025-235 canceling the October 3rd, November 27th, and December 25th regular council meeting. I just threw in the 27th, the 23rd of October, because I was in a mood of canceling meetings for the next 2 months. So why not? And we are also meeting next week, but
But
I'll-
next week is a specific time.
sure, but I'm just saying in general, right? Like, we're meeting again, so do we have enough material, considering all that we've done today, to
Yeah.
continue the 23rd meeting?
I think we do. I think we have a lot of unfinished items from previous meetings.
All right, well then let's make a motion to strike that one, and then let's move right along to the next ones. And that's what she wants, yeah.
I move to strike from section 1 of resolution number 2025-235, October 23rd, 2025, comma.
Yeah, second that.
Okay, so I have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem and a second from Alderman Tremblay to strike October 23rd, 2025, comma, from the resolution number 2025-235. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, that motion carries.
I move to pass resolution number 2025-235, a resolution of the City Council of the City of San Diego, Texas, canceling the hold on. I move to strike October 23rd, 2025, comma, from the title of the ordinance.
I'm also gonna say, the second, the third, whereas.
Oh, I thought it was generic enough to
Okay,
where,
that's why I wasn't sure if it was generic enough or,
I specifically said section
Okay.
1,
did you say section 1? I
I
didn't.
thought you
Okay.
repeated it.
but you didn't repeat it.
I didn't repeat section 1.
So then it doesn't count. It
Okay.
doesn't- Then my motion was amended to say strike of October 23rd, comma.
Okay, so then let's reapprove that.
Okay, so I move to pass resolution number 2025-235, a resolution of the City Council of the City of San Diego, Texas, canceling the November 27th, 2025 and December 25th, 2025 regular City Council meeting.
All right, I have a motion from our Mayor Pro Tem and a second from Alderwoman CJ to accept resolution number 2025-235, a resolution of the City Council of the City of San Diego, Texas, canceling the November 27th, 2025 and December 25th, 2025 regular City Council meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. Let's see, here moving along. And discuss under possible action on filling the position of city administrator on a part-time basis with funding through the investment funds. Alderman Tremblay, Alderwoman Walker, you do have the floor.
Yeah, I think we kind of touched on this in last meeting when we went forward and approved hiring or filling a position for code enforcement. But I think it was a lot of interest in pursuing a city administrator. My thought was that we would possibly try this on a part-time basis, advertise for a part-time individual, and with the condition that if he was successful, that we would convert it to a full-time position. Also based on funding availability. But I've looked at the investment fund is at 132,000, like 132,500 as of 9/30. The general fund was at 150, a little over 151,000. So I would recommend that we fund another 50,000. We funded 50 for the code enforcement. I'd like to suggest we get 50,000 funded through the investment fund, or possibly even taking a piece out of the general fund. But approving $50,000 to recruit for a part-time city administrator.
Well, hold on, you said to recruit for a part-time.
Yes,
We don't wanna, we don't wanna, we don't wanna pay $50,000 to recruit, so.
To advertise,
Gotcha.
to advertise.
But take $50,000
Take
for
$50,000
an administrator.
out, and I think coming out of the investment fund, Megan, it would be an investment. I think if we, hired a city administrator, besides managing all of our employees, you'd be managing the city operations as well. Also looking for some economic development to bring in some, we've got some commercial lots available that we can bring some more businesses in here, into the city. I think it would be a beneficial investment to move forward with this. And I think next year, going into 2026, I think our income base will support both the code compliance and the city administrator positions. So that would be my motion, would be to authorize moving $50,000 and putting it aside to fund the part-time position of city administrator
From the investment fund or?
from the investment fund.
Okay.
You wanna pull that funds now or when we hire them?
When we hire, we could pull it there.
Is it to be advertised as part-time only or?
I think we should advertise it as part-time, because I don't think we'll get anybody, to work full-time as a city administrator for 50,000. I think we need to advertise it as part-time. And see where it goes.
Maybe with the potential to move to full-time.
Yeah, I mean, and we could put that in the advertisement, part-time with potential for full-time.
Cause my concern is that you have them economic development, you have managing employees. And then they're gonna be here 4 hours a day.
Given the list of
Well,
tasks that you
4 hours,
provided,
you
I
know,
don't
yeah.
see full,
I think
part-time is
maybe
working.
three days a week, I don't know, but I mean, I have the interim job description position, I mean, and all the things that I mentioned.
But you're not saying an interim, you're not saying to hire an interim.
No, I'm
public
saying
em-
part-time, right.
So you're saying to hire a public administrator as a
administrator.
part-time job, you're not saying the
Correct,
interim
correct.
one.
No, I'm saying, I'm looking at the job description of what the interim would do, so it's basically the same as a full-time as a city administrator. Same job duties.
I would hire him, my opinion is I would hire him full-time. Let's take 50K from the investment fund and let's take it out of the general fund eventually, right? Like eventually it's gonna have to tap into that. Cause I don't think we're gonna get one very good feedback from a part-timer. And then two, I don't think they're gonna make a difference at part-time. Three days a week, I don't think that's enough.
I think we would need more than 50,000, we need to pull more like 70,000.
I mean, that's what it takes, but
So then, if we want to shoot for full-time, we could,
what would the salary then be? 120, 100 to 120?
When we list the ad, we should be specifying where we're gonna list it, how long we're gonna list it, and what the salary range is gonna be that we're gonna be offering. So a $100,000 to $120,000 a year.
I mean, I'm looking at about 280 available through the investment fund and general fund. It's like $280,000. Do we want to pull 120,000 from those funds?
So based on your description
Mhm.
of what this person is going to be doing, do you really think someone can do it part-time? And do you not think that having that person here full-time to do those things you described will not also help
Oh,
increase the
definitely.
income for the city?
Definitely. I'm trying to look at it as financially, what we can afford as a
I
city.
think we owe it to the city and the city employees to get a full-time city administrator on board as soon as possible.
So you don't have a problem pulling 100,000, if you made the salary 100,000
No, we can't pull 100,000 from the investment fund. That's all
No,
that's in there.
from the investment and the general
And
fund.
the general fund, yeah, I would say 60 to 70 from the investment and then the rest has to come out of our reserve, which is what we've built up over the last few
There's
years.
a salary, we need to publish a salary range and then pay the individual based on the experience
qualifications.
and the other qualifications they have. But we can't do this part-time. We need, as the mayor said, someone here 5 days a week, not just 4 hours, 5 days a week, or 3 days a week for 8 hours. We've got to have that full-time dedication to get the full amount of work we need from that person and the proper recommendation, someone dedicated to help improve the city and make life better for our citizens and our employees.
So if we move forward with a full-time position at around 100,000, and we pull 50 and 50 from the investment fund, 50 from the general fund, and advertise a salary between 80 and 100,000 for full-time.
I'd have to go look at the records, because I pulled what the average income was for a city administrator. So I would recommend we go a little above and below that. It's in that email that the mayor forwarded back out to us on the personnel policy. Let me see. Pay information.
I think 80 to 120 based on qualifications is gonna be,
So
Gonna
if we
get
do
somebody.
60 and 60.
Yeah, so a city administrator, the average was 90,000,
Okay.
with the low being only 68.9
I mean, the reality
on
is,
one of
too,
the
you
websites.
have to realize that our tax base doesn't support a super high paid administrator.
Right, but if
So-
90 is the average, what he just said, the 80 to 100 would be a reasonable and slightly above and below the average according to govsalaries.com.
So I mean, I think anybody that applies should expect that it's gonna be on the lower end. And then with room for improvement. Unless they just,
We don't normally advertise what salaries are when we advertise.
it's just, it
positions.
has for a scale. In
When
TML,
we advertise TML, and TML does go when we
I
put it
think
in the
for a
real.
position
but it
like this,
goes-
if we
yeah.
don't include a salary,
Yeah,
we're not
nobody-
gonna
Put it
get.
in
everybody's gonna
Wilson County
overlook it.
News, do we publish salaries?
I'm pretty sure we can, I'm pretty sure we have, I don't know.
I don't think we've ever published salaries.
I don't
Because
think
normally we
publishing in
take
Wilson
the-
County News is very effective at all, but
Yeah.
that's up to y'all. I think it needs to be like in Indeed and TML, because everybody does look through TML, like people that work cities career wise, look in TML. In my opinion, and that costs us nothing to advertise there, but. I think we go for a scale of 80 to 120 based on qualifications, and let's see who we can get, see what kind of fish we
You
can
think we
reel.
can go all the way as high as 120?
60 and 60.
If we pull 60 and 60.
My concern is that
Because if we say 80 to 100, then there's that also overhead that we're going to have to come up with the funds to
Right,
pay.
we've got to
True.
pay the benefits
Yeah.
on
Yes.
top of the salary, so if we go at 80, we're probably gonna be at 100.
Can we contract?
20. If we contract, we don't have to pay taxes, we pay their own taxes.
we don't have to pay benefits either. But
Exactly.
I think there's legal things that we can't do that, so.
You
Well,
want somebody that's gonna be. Continue. You know,
Yeah.
So that it goes from administrator to administrator.
But then they could bill too, right? But I'm just talking like,
Exactly.
yeah. I don't, you wanna do 80 to 100?
If we do the 120, do we still have the funds for the overhead is my question.
Oh, I
Because you
gotcha.
know the numbers a lot more than I do. That's why I was thinking that if we go with Alderman Tremblay's number of the 80 to 100, we'll probably end up spending the 100 to the 120.
Yeah, that's fair. I think
maybe
that,
80
I think the
to 100.
budget would be a lot more comfortable. So then my only concern, right, is it sustainable past this year? Right, because that means we're pretty much gonna be flat on any kind of growth as far as hiring, and so on. So
We've
But if the
got some,
administrator does his job
right.
or her job,
Mhm.
how much business do you think they're gonna bring in a year? I mean,
So
what,
we're
one
over
thing,
150,000 in general fund, so there's 150,000 there.
Yeah, but I
That if
mean-
we had a balanced budget,
as an
that
account,
that money wouldn't be there.
as an accountant, true, but as an accountant, which I'm not, but as an accountant or a person who has a finance degree, I'd like that we have, and then the auditors come in and say it every year.
Oh, yeah.
You have
sure, it's
6
great.
months of reserves.
Right,
If something hits the fan, you've got money in the bank.
but if we look at what we're gonna pick up down the end of Waterwood Pass, and there have been several new homes that have been built, I
Yeah.
think we can sustain it.
and the code enforcement
And the next
officer
year.
having someone here full-time to
Right.
do those
And just
additional
addressing
collections.
all of those compliance issues.
I think it'll be tight. I think it's doable, but I think it'll be tight.
Sure.
It's up to y'all.
Well, I would move that we approve advertising for a full-time city administrator with compensation
80 to 100.
$80,000 to $100,000.
Advertise where, sir?
Advertising through TML, Indeed, we'll throw Wilson County News in there. Any other
City website.
city website. with funding coming from $60,000 from the investment fund and $60,000 come from the general fund.
Split evenly between the two, because we don't know
Yes,
exactly what it's
60
gonna
and
be,
60.
but we don't know it's gonna be 60. Because you gave a range.
So, 'cause it could be 40 and 40.
50%.
50% of the fund, the funding will come from,
Oh, gosh.
be shared, okay? I don't know, do we need to get that far into it and just publish in the salary and talk about the salary?
Yeah,
once
because we
he's
don't need to
hired?
pull any money. We don't need to pull any
do
money
it
right now.
So
Yeah,
that,
that's
then we can do
fine.
this after, if we do an interview, we do a hire.
Yeah, because it could take 3 months before we would get anybody.
And then we don't need that much.
Then we don't need that much. So.
Valid point.
So is that motion clear enough or do we?
So let me restate it. So we're gonna do 50% from the investment fund, 50% from the general fund. We're gonna advertise in TML, Indeed, Wilson County News, and the website to advertise for a full-time city administrator position.
Correct.
For salary,
For a salary of 80 to 100.
I'll second that.
All right. Let me restate it. So I have a motion from Alderman Tremblay and a second from our Mayor Pro Tem to advertise for a full-time city administrator position with a salary range of $80,000 to $100,000 to be advertised in TML, Indeed, Wilson County News, and the city website to be funded 50% from our investment fund and 50% from our general fund. Is that fair? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, let's get that published. Okay, E, discuss under possible action on ordinance 2025-262 establishing animal control regulations. In your agenda or in your packet, you have the red line version. I believe this was E. Yep. Or rather, you just have your completed version.
The red line incorporates all the amendments made by council at the last meeting, but there are also, Ashley and I talked additionally, and she had some additional, recommendations, so, one additional recommendation that was not approved by council, but by Ashley is, under the sterilization section 5D,
Eight. On the red line?
on the red, on page 10, 5D. Where council struck what is shown as struck as section 2. And then she's recommending the new section 2.
Those are the new twos in blue.
So instead of a permit, which was under the last draft for a litter, it would just be a fine for a litter. So it'd be the fine for not sterilizing your animal and then a fine for having a litter because you did not sterilize your animal. There's 2 separate violations. Except for community cat givers. And then those definitions are added to this ordinance too.
So, and I brought this up last time. Since we're talking about community cat caregivers, if we're gonna pass this ordinance, I wanna make sure that we have something for registration, so. And actually, if you wanna come take a look at this. So this is what I propose we use as a registration form for the community cat caregiver. I worked with Ashley to put this together, and then, CJ, who's been involved with in the past, recommended that I add the trap neuter release video link to the box, the second line where they're supposed to initial. So if we're gonna make exceptions for them, if they're registered with the city, I think we need this permit. Or this registration form in in the front office for them to complete and turn in to Ashley, so that they're registered. And then we can bring this back and talk about it the next meeting when we're doing this, because this is only the first reading on this ordinance, but I wanted to give everybody a copy of this if you had any concerns. But the only change that's been recommended to me so far was to add the link, the website where you get the San Antonio TNR video. So just so you guys have that, so that we pass that when we do the second reading on this ordinance. Because I don't like doing things without a permit. And also I moved to make the fine for having a litter $500 in order to encourage them to go pay the fee to get their animal fixed. After speaking with Ashley, she recommends that we make sure the cost of fixing the animal is less than the fine for having the litter.
What page are you reading now?
This is the item that she just mentioned, where it says if you have a litter, there's going to be a fine.
Mhm.
If you breed your animal, in addition to the not having a sterilized animal, she wants a fine. And to ensure, motivate them to go get the animal fixed. The $500 is what Ashley was recommending, as the fine to be added to the master fee schedule.
Fine for just having the litter,
Correct. If they,
not the sterilization fine.
correct. So
two
there's a
separate.
fine for not having the sterilized dog. And
Okay.
then if your dog actually has a litter and you don't go get it sterilized, then there's an additional $500 fine.
But then the fine would be imposed by the court, not, it would not be included in the master fee schedule. So the ordinance for penalty violations, I think it's not to exceed 2,000, and that's usually set by the court.
So we can't give them a fine for having a litter.
You can specify the fine in the ordinance, but just, you use the word fee, I just want to make sure you know the fee is more.
Oh, sorry, not the master fee schedule, the master fine schedule.
Oh, is there?
Yes, ma'am, there is.
Okay, then that's, okay. Then
We haven't looked at it or updated it in a long time, but there is a master fine schedule. So I misstated, to add the
Okay,
$500
make sure.
fine to the master fine schedule, which we should probably bring back and take a look at some point.
You still have this digitized where you can fix the registration and drop the box?
Yes,
Okay. So how does one be assessed a $500 fine, right? Like, how does that
If
come
he-
about?
catches someone with a litter.
So the dogs are in the street, right? That's basically how.
If she sees a litter of puppies,
So what me and Cassandra were talking about, animal control Cassandra, is if we go to your location and your dog is loose, you have two options. You can go get your dog fixed, or you can get a fine if your dog has a litter, because a litter is entirely for them.
Right, but the question is, how do you find that person, right? But it's because the dog's
They
loose.
have a litter.
Well, how do you know they have a litter? That's what I'm saying.
We have all these puppies, I need to get rid of them. Or we're seeing them on the next door app,
Or they're on
they're
the
trying to
street,
sell them or
Like
get
the-
rid of them.
or they're just in their yard. You come by and there's a mom, dog and puppies. in
There's
the
7
yard.
dogs with,
Yeah, because we've
Mhm.
also tried working with the residents, the public, telling them, okay, we can take your dog, your puppies, but you have to, in order to drop the $500 fee, go get their shots, go get them fixed. And then that's not really working. You
Yeah.
know, so they're still,
yeah, being nice doesn't work.
Yeah.
I got you.
So we kind of want something to where it's like, if you need to do this, and if you don't, there's a fine for it. There's a citation that we can issue to them for not having their dog fixed and for the litter itself, because a lot of times, whether we take in a litter or not, we still end up with those dogs 6 months down the line.
Is there, so I have boy dogs, all neutered, by the way. But if they were not, and they went to the neighbor's yard, who gets the ticket? I mean, obviously the girl dog, I would assume, But
If the person, if both people would get a citation for it, not for the litter. Whoever has the litter
Yeah,
is gonna get.
like I would, let's just say they weren't, my dogs weren't neutered, I would get the non-sterilized, they would get the litter fee.
And the non-sterilized.
And the non-sterilized, yeah.
And the loose ball. Because you can go get your
Well,
dog
prove it.
fixed, even
Prove it was
after it's,
loose.
even after it's been bred, you can go and get your dog fixed.
Yeah.
You can still go and get it done.
Yeah.
And you know when your dog is in heat, because all the male dogs are in the yard,
Yeah.
everybody knows.
Yeah.
I mean, we
So,
also look at it this way. If we take in the dog, how much is it gonna cost to take one puppy to go get all their shots? And how much is it gonna cost to get that dog fixed? And then add it to 7, 10, 15 puppies out of one litter.
Yeah, no, I've done the math with the
We're trying to
3 animal
save.
control officers ago. I mean, the average dog that stays here for a month costs about $500 to $600 in food and labor. So I mean, it's not cheap to house a dog here.
and it's not easily clean after 5 or 6 months.
Mhm.
So that's kind of where we're trying to encourage not having puppies. Just so, it's a lot of work on everybody's plate. Even, and that's how we end up with a lot of them to begin with, is because they're eating too much food, or they're costing us too much money. That's how they call us, and
Yeah.
we're like, why didn't you have your dog fixed? So,
And medication, because they have worms. That's. And
Okay,
then we gotta get on the phone to Austin, SLI for our surrounding shelters, leading them out, trying to get them transferred. Versus spending all the money trying to get them fixed.
and we've even offered like, hey, we'll help you set up the appointment, you take your dog.
yeah,
So that's an option, if people want to, and they still don't do it.
okay.
That's all.
What else do we need on this one?
Those were oh, Ashley also had specificities for the secure enclosures. But I think they were added, I think you had different specifications than what council had talked about, right? Okay. Under the secure enclosure definition, in the definition section, page 5. Or is it just for dangerous, under the dangerous dogs?
I think it might have been as a dangerous dog.
So under,
There was a difference between, you added in a secure enclosure definition,
correct,
and then you added in the difference between a secure enclosure and a dangerous dog
Yeah.
enclosure.
Because we have different kinds of enclosures, and this secure enclosure was added on.
so then the dangerous, under the dangerous dog requirements where it would require a secure enclosure. That would follow the definition, but then also additional requirements, specifically the dangerous dogs. But that is not, those specifications aren't included in this draft, depending on what council
What,
decide.
the secure enclosure specifications are included in the definitions.
Or secure, adequate.
And then there's also an adequate enclosure, which is what is used when they're talking about the aggressive dog in section 10. The aggressive dog information was added, and that talks about an adequate enclosure, just to delineate secure enclosures is for one type and adequate enclosure for another.
Because secure enclosure in the ordinance is only under the dangerous dog section, but under G, the definition where it says at least 10 feet by 10 feet in perimeter. And you get a different recommendation, or do you have a different recommendation?
I think we added on the hard top metal roof for that specific enclosure.
Yeah, that's what the secure enclosure requires
Okay,
for a
then no
dangerous
other
dog.
changes than what's already proposed. I misunderstood. I thought she was suggesting something different. In addition.
That captured everything in that.
Yeah,
Secure
it
did.
enclosure,
Okay.
that's- Yeah,
And then
Sorry, I
everything
don't have
else,
that right in front of me, but I think you have it in there.
okay, and everything else council had made those changes, so. As far as what you'll need to do there, approve
Sorry,
it for
sorry,
second
sorry.
reading, and then make a different change.
That captured it. So. In looking at the alphabetizing of the definitions. master fee schedule is with the S instead of with the M's. So it's on,
Okay, it's not that move to,
because it's called, even within the ordinance, it's referred to as a master fee schedule.
okay.
So I relocate master fee schedule to before microchip in the list of definitions.
Anybody want to second that?
I'll second.
All right, I got a motion by our Mayor Pro Tem and a second from Alderwoman CJ to move master fee schedule to before microchip on page 4 of the definitions. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. All right, that motion carries.
No. No one seconded that. And that's supposed to be added to the following schedule, not to this ordinance. So is it right to vote on it now? Don't we need to pass that at the same time we're doing the ordinance?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Also, I further talked to Ashley in regards to the litter fee that she was trying to explain at the previous meeting. And so if we would go to section 5D4, which I believe is page 10. What she was referring to is the dogs and cats that are exempt from this subsection, the ones that don't need to be fixed. Specifically, the purebred dogs and cats, if someone has a purebred that they're showing and they want to have a litter, she wants to do a litter permit for that specific group and that group only. Because they don't have to be fixed. She wants some way to track that they're having litters. That would be a fee, right?
No.
And where would be the best place to add that in order to indicate that it only applies to the purebred dogs and cats? Because I'm assuming those under 6 months of age, we don't want to give them a permit. One that can't be sterilized because of health reasons shouldn't be getting pregnant either. So.
Probably under a section that says where they need to be registered, so if.
So that's right there in 4, so. In 5D4, Roman numeral 4, it has 1, 2, or 3, which lists what the requirements are to register it, so right there at the top of page 11. If your dog is a purebred and registered.
Okay, then it'd probably be added there as a number 4.
As a number 4,
Under
Roman numeral 4.
D4.
Okay,
Then I had 4.
add a number 4 under 5D4, Roman numeral 4, number 4.
Mhm.
And I would ask the attorney to write it in appropriate legal term, but a requirement that if they wanted to breed their registered purebred dog or cat, that they need to get a litter permit.
It has to be agility. Show.
Yeah, it's gonna be under that.
Okay.
It's gonna be under this specific one.
Okay.
It'll be one of the requirements under there. And the purebred dog cat that competes, yeah.
So not a, just like a German Rottweiler.
No, it has to be, according to the ordinance, it has to be, in an agility or confirmation.
Yeah, at the very bottom of page 10, it says purebred dogs or cats that compete in conformation, obedience, and agility events and have the following 1, 2, or 3, and then add a number 4 appropriately worded to say that if they're going to breed this purebred dog or cat, if they're gonna breed this animal, they need to have a litter permit. And then we would add a litter permit. I will draft up a litter permit form and have it for the next meeting. I'll work with Ashley to get that done and then have a $300 litter fee added to the master fee schedule.
Is there any reason why we don't want to have just purebred dogs that they breed for the purpose of?
It just wasn't in there, if y'all wanna change.
I don't,
These are the only ones exempt.
no, I know, but I'm just saying, should we add that in?
Not because of purebred dog. I don't know.
I mean,
So-
if it's got registration.
Yeah, if it's an
paperwork,
AKC German Shepherd, right, why shouldn't they be allowed to?
I think they should, but it wasn't in there, so I didn't. bring it
Yeah.
up.
So you're saying we should change this?
I think we should add in for the, not just those, but like AKC registered, I don't know the right
But-
word, but.
Like not
So-
just agility or.
So back up.
Yep.
Can we deal with the motion and
Sure,
we'll
sure.
look at Roman numeral 4 in a minute, but under Roman numeral 4, add a number 4 properly worded by
Yep.
the attorney that states, if you intend to breed this animal, this pet, you need
need
to
a
get a
litter
litter permit.
Yep. Gotcha.
The last few words under IV.
Yep.
And have the following. Number 4.
Right.
Could just be a breeder's litter permit obtained from the city.
Yeah, that's,
Or
yeah.
specifying for purebred.
Well,
I know
I
it's
mean,
under
yeah,
the section, I understand it's under the.
That's what I mean. She
section,
can
but
figure out how to
for
word it.
clarity-
That's why I'm not saying
So when the
exactly.
permit is issued, you look at the documentation, number 3 says appropriate documents to establish the exemption. So if you have AKC papers.
Yeah.
There's your proof for the exemption.
Yeah. All right, so, but the motion by our Mayor Pro Tem is to add in section D4, number 4, under Roman numeral 4, to add in a number 4. To write in legal terms, essentially to state to apply for a litter permit. Was that, I mean,
For
is
each
it-
litter, yeah.
Yeah.
You get a litter permit for any litter,
right.
for every litter.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I'll take it from David. And a second by Alderman Tremblay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right,
So going back to Roman numeral 4, change the purebred dog or cat that competes and just do that is
maybe just a purebred dog or cat.
registered.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, what do you call the organizations with whom you register a dog or a cat? Is there a name to categorize that?
Or there's multiples, right? Or
But what is that called? Can we just say registered
Registration
with,
paperwork,
registered dog.
registered dog, dog with
purebred with?
a pet with papers.
Yeah,
There's certain paperwork that comes with each animal, and it depends on what group they're in. If
Yeah,
they're a purebred,
is there a way to legally say registered with one of those organizations?
I think if you just say registered with I can work on that.
Or
language
nationally
with Ashley
recognized.
On how, some sort of recognized
A nationally recognized
for
organization?
that particular breed, because all the breeds, do they have different registrations?
I think so,
That's
but
what-
some
yeah.
are like
I think
designer,
cats have different than dogs
Mm-hmm.
too.
like designer dogs, which aren't, they
Yeah,
don't
those
have
aren't.
papers and they're not,
yeah, they're just
they're just,
sheep doodle or whatever.
So I would move that we strike from section 5D4 Roman numeral 4, that and everything after that. And allow the attorney to replace it with something that indicates it is a dog or cat that is purebred and registered with some sort of nationally recognized organization.
You're striking everything after that. You don't want to have the following.
Oh, thank you. Correct. From that to events. And replace it with something to indicate that they're registered in with some nationally recognized organization.
All right, so the motion is by the Mayor Pro Tem. Do I have a second?
A second.
And a second by Alderwoman CJ to strike that compete in confirmation, obedience, and agility events. And to then instruct the attorney to draft language that explains whether the cat's registered or accredited by some sort of nationally recognized organization. Is that fair? Yeah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, all right. That motion carries.
So this ordinance is going to impose additional fines and fees, but not within the ordinance. They're going to be mentioned, but then listed in the master fee schedule. So how do we notify our citizens of what the fines are? Do we need to do that, or just telling them that there's going to be a fine associated with it? Because again, we post this after the first reading for them to go look at it before we get to our second reading.
Any new fines or fees would be published in paper, so that is the notice.
But that's after the second
Mhm.
reading, so we don't need to make sure they know between the first and second, just knowing that there's going to be a fine is sufficient.
Yeah. I don't
'Cause that's
think
just
the
our ordinance.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, because we have the new section on, section 17C, failure to reclaim an impounded animal. And this, as Ashley has explained in detail, adds a significant cost. Because they don't want to pay the surrender fee, which is $500. So I would move to make the failure to reclaim fee also $500.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
So added it in section C, is that?
No, because we didn't list any,
Okay.
we just have to put it in the master fee schedule or fine schedule for the other thing that I mentioned. So just to make sure that we're capturing that so that our city secretary can go update everything appropriately when we have the second reading.
Okay. So, excuse me, so the motion by our Mayor Pro Tem and seconded by Alderwoman CJ is to update the failure or to create the failure to reclaim fee as $500. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, right?
Did I make a motion on the litter fee?
Motion by. Of a little fine.
No, I didn't get a second on the
Oh,
litter
the-
fine, but I also mentioned a $300 litter fee if they, for the section we added. For those that are allowed, the purebreds that are allowed to get a litter. Wanted to charge $300 for that litter permit fee under section 5D4, Roman numeral 4, purebred animals. Master fee schedule should be updated to reflect the $300 fee for the litter permits.
All right, so I do have a motion by our Mayor Pro Tem and a second by Alderwoman CJ to create a litter fee under 5D4 Roman numeral 4, then subsection 4. Well, no, you're not adding it to the.
No, but that litter fee that's mentioned there will be
Right.
added to the master fee schedule for the amount of $300.
Gotcha. Okay, so then let me rephrase that. So then again, I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem and a second by Alderwoman CJ to add a $300 fee for the litter fee that would be described in section 5D4, Roman numeral 4, subsection 4. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. All right, that motion carries.
And then I did to confirm that no one wants to second and we're gonna let the motion die. I move to add a $500 litter fine to the master fine schedule for failure to, for having a litter.
So I have a motion by our Mayor Pro Tem to add a fine for a litter of $500. Do I have a second?
Yes. I'll second.
and a second by Alderwoman CJ. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? All right, that motion carries. The next motion is what, to get it to the next meeting? Get it published on the second reading?
Enough, I want to make sure they don't have.
Yeah.
to.
True.
No, I'm good.
All right, I move to approve as amended ordinance number 262, an ordinance of the city of Sandy Oaks, Texas, amending ordinance number 2025-236, establishing animal control regulations.
Second.
Second reading, like that, you're approving the ordinance.
Oh, to approve it for a second reading. Yeah, thank you, Nancy.
All right, I got a motion by our Mayor Pro Tem and a second by Alderman Tremblay to approve ordinance number 2025-262 as amended. An ordinance of the city of Sandy Oaks, Texas, amending ordinance number 2025-236, establishing animal control regulations, providing a severability clause, providing for a penalty for violations hereof, providing for an effective date, and providing for publication or a second reading. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. That motion carries.
When this comes back to council, do y'all want the existing red lines there? You want those removed and then just red lines of the new changes?
I think just the new change.
Just
Just
the new change.
That's what I said.
Okay. All right, let's move along. Keeping the momentum up. 13F, discussing a possible action on an animal shelter technician. Mayor Pro Tem, Alderwoman Walker, you have the floor.
So I've discussed this with Ashley and Cassandra.
Mhm.
And I know it's already published out there, but what's published out there wasn't approved by the council and doesn't accurately capture what it is that animal control and I believe and Alderwoman Walker believe this individual should do. The one that's posted out there sounds a lot like what the animal shelter volunteers do. It's like what I did when I first moved here and I volunteered. This encapsulates and captures more requirements. I mean, even the requirement to be able to lift 60 pounds. Some of these animals are big. We just felt that was relevant. So this is what we are proposing as the job description that we post for a full-time position. I'm not sure what we had budgeted for a salary for this, but I would propose this as our job, full-time position, and post it in the appropriate locations. But
So it wasn't approved as a full-time position. It's always been a part-time.
so this is going to be a part-time position.
$15 an hour. That was what we agreed to in the budget.
Okay. Good.
Let's say some of these items need to learn a lot of this through training. I mean, I don't know that we're gonna find someone with all of these.
No, but when you post the request for applicants, they need to know what it is they're going to do.
This is their
Even
duties
if
and
it's-
responsibilities. This isn't saying they have to be able to do it when we hire them. The back list what the minimum qualifications are. This is what we expect them to be able to do when they apply for the job.
Right.
That's why the qualification list is shorter. There, we realize some of it will be OJT.
But these are positions that we've been advertising for.
Yeah, it's on the website.
That's what's on the website.
Yeah.
And we have a few applicants, but
For Canatech?
I thought we had some. Is that the ones we have? Yes, we have
Yes.
three.
Okay.
I think they need to be told to review this, though. I think this is a, more accurate description of the expectations as opposed to the one that was posted without our review.
I mean, the one that was posted without your review is directly from another city website. So I mean, it can't vary that far. And if you're doing anything, you're making it more restrictive to be for less people to be qualified. But
But you could probably cover some of these during the interview process if you wanna,
yeah,
ask them. if they
it don't
have-
matter. We
need to
can,
be aware that this is what ultimately the essential duties and responsibilities are.
Right.
And I think that animal control needs to have the greater input
Well, here, I would think they would,
since they're working with the person.
she would be included in the interview
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
I mean, we should provide, if we have applicants, we should provide this to them and make sure they still want to apply. Because again, we as a city council are supposed to approve every job that's posted. Because just because there's an opening doesn't mean we're gonna advertise for it. According to our personnel policy, we as a city council decide which positions are gonna be filled and when and where we're gonna advertise.
May I just
At this
say
point,
one
there's no action on this item.
let's just swap it out, swap it on the website. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Me like, I'm still new, I'll be here, year next month. I didn't know majority of what goes on in animal control or kennels or anything. I had no experience. So I had to learn a lot. But I've told Ashley many times, like, oh my goodness, you do a lot. Like, whenever I first got hired doing kennel tech, and I thought, oh, good, I'm gonna play with puppies and I'm gonna just scoop up poop and feed them. That was it. I didn't know taking pictures, getting good pictures to get them adopted, getting them transferred, helping her, giving shots, giving microchips, like, I'm scared of needles, and I freaked out a couple times. I was like, I can't do it. So being honest and coming to them and telling them, hey, this is real. This is what we do on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis. We want to be as real as possible, like her coming to me and asking me some of these questions, like, how did you feel, coming into this? I was kind of blinded. I didn't know all of this on the list that I had to basically learn.
I had the same thing when I.
So, we want to be totally honest with the person coming in
We don't want them to come in and then quit.
or freaking out,
Mhm.
because I'm a very emotional person too. I love animals. Having to help assist, whether the vet comes here or we have to take them to a veterinary clinics and getting the dog put down, it's very emotional. And sometimes, I'll admit, I cry. Or I get upset about situations or whatever. But we have to learn how to control it around the public. Yeah. do it
Let's,
professionally.
See if we can, do we want to just wait until we actually get some applicants and let them go over this during
I
the.
move to replace the listed job posting with this one. And then tell the applicants that we've already received to look at this new job description.
Is there any way for us to make it a full-time position, as many dogs as we're getting in? It is a lot, it takes away from what we're doing just to clean up, like, right now, we've got 20 dogs out there, it takes a lot away from us to be able to clean. And it takes us at least 2 hours out there to clean up, and that's something that we could be out doing other things. Either doing write-ups, or it would just take some of that off of our plate and we could be out more. Is there any?
Like today, for
I
instance,
think the mayor set the budget at a part-time and we're gonna have to stick with that and see what we can grow into later, because we have more important things that animal control needs to get, like a new facility.
Okay.
So let's just stick with what we budgeted would be my recommendation.
I have to agree. I don't know where to pull money from
Yeah.
if we did. I mean, I can certainly see the need, right? But I also think we need to manage our time a lot better, right? We can't be just stuck together. Like I see that a lot where we're riding along together and I get for backup purposes. But hey, one's gotta be doing this, the other one's gotta be doing this, and a third person part-time's gotta be doing this. And I think if we can manage that efficiently, then maybe it grows into a full-time position, but I think we gotta be better with our time to make do with what we got. So you do have a motion on the floor to replace the current job description with the one provided by Mayor Pro Tem. Do I have a second?
Also,
So a second, motion by Mayor Pro Tem and a second by Alderwoman CJ to replace the job description with the one provided by our Mayor Pro Tem
And notify the applicant.
and notify the applicants of the updates. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I,
All those opposed. All right, we can swap that out. Can you send me the electronic version?
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
I sent it to Delma already. Cause she's the one that printed it for me. I sent
Oh,
it for this morning.
Is it in the folder?
Yeah.
Okay,
No, it's not in the folder.
put it in the folder and then I can just grab it and upload it to the website. Yeah.
Yeah, the permit's in there too, but, cause I emailed them both to her this morning and asked her to print them, but I'm gonna fix a couple things on the permit and then I'll send it back in. To have with the second reading of the animal control ordinance,
All right.
as well as the permit for the litter, the permit for the litter permit.
Right.
I'll create one of those as well, so that we have it by the time we pass the ordinance.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Any other questions on this one or any more discussion?
No, but can we take a 5-minute recess before we move to the next item, please?
Why don't we just go into executive session and then,
As long as I can go to the back.
Yeah, all right. It's now 8:41. We will move into executive session.
Oh, did you read that item,
What item?
the executive session items?
So, all right, hold on. So agenda item G, executive session to deliberate the appointment, employment duties, discipline, or dismissal of the chief of police pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.04, personnel matters, and Section 551.071, consulting with the attorney on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with the Texas Open Meeting Act. It is now 8:42. We are in executive session.
I don't think about it.
I'm gonna ask this to sit in the hall.
Yeah.
So we're,
Oh, you want to stay here?
no, we were gonna go into the hall.
Oh, okay, yeah, 'cause there's.
Oh, yeah. Take off your mics. Recording. Okay, the time is now 9:26. We are back in session. And we will move along to agenda item H. Discuss under possible action on appointment, employment duties, discipline, or dismissal of chief of police.
I move to postpone that item to a possible future date.
I got a motion by Alderman Tremblay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by our Mayor Pro Tem. The motion is to postpone agenda item D, or excuse me, H, to postpone to a possible later date. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, that motion carries.
Move to adjourn.
All right, it is now 9:27. We are adjourned. Thank you all.